Hello, in this video I thought we just kind of have a little talk about my dad's process, about how he approaches sticks and any thoughts that he has on the kind of the making of the blackthorn sticks. So he can kind of go through his own kind of way of how he approaches and his own process like. Let's work away there.
I'm just looking at a
These
blackthorn.
smell kind of weird.
Okay, son, that's fine. They're just bananas.
Bananas.
Alright, we're just making a video here, dude. Alright, you're in it now.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the blackthorn here now, and a sign of a blackthorn that is well seasoned and is an old, mature stick is this here. It's a type of a moss, and there's lichen that grows on them, and that is one of the type of sticks that you look out for, because when you see them, they usually come from the center of a hedge or center of the tree, of the bush, and they're very strong and they're sturdy, and they're usually sort of straight as well. Now we do have to straighten a lot of them, like even that one now needs a little bit of a straighten, but that's okay too. We have our own ways of doing that. And I would have learned all that from my father, and actually I learned my son how to even make. I had used my skill as a tradesman. I have made the timber straighteners, and even I can weld as well, which is handy. So I have welded types of little machines to straighten sticks. Yeah, but
okay, so how so when you're looking for a good blackthorn to cut, like, how would you identify one when you're trying to find one?
well, the first thing is, I suppose, for the experienced fella, he will already know where they are, because when they start just after the winter time, when they start, they're one of the first trees to start flowering, and they have a lovely yellow flower on them. So you take a note in your mind of where you've seen all these blackthorns. You were like a surveyor. You're watching where they were growing. You say, look, they're the ones now.
Yeah.
For next year, because obviously this is at the end of the season. It'd be the wrong time to be cutting them. So you would you'd take a mental note in your head of all the little places, and that's how you would know them, because the next tree then that is like them is the white thorn, but it has a reddish white flower, and it is later. Also then in the winter time, the other way of knowing is the blackthorns would have a sloe, which is a little purple plummy type fruit, and the white thorn would have a little haw. It's a little red haw, they called it, which also can make some kind of wine by some people. But if you want to pick out the stick, this type here that I'm holding in my hand here has these double and treble groups of thorns. If you can see them there, instead of singles, they have clusters. Well, them clusters really make a very nice, as you can see, the knuckles there are, they are, in my opinion, what makes a blackthorn. Sometimes on a lot of occasions you'll get other ones who are just straight, but then they're blackthorns, but they're not. If you for maybe 10 good ones, you'll get 20 that are just plain ones, but they're equally as strong and as sturdy. But it's just for in the eye of the beholder, a nice stick like this one here now. That's what I would recommend,
So so what's your favorite type of stick like? What type of stick do you like best?
Well, I am, for my height, I like one about 36 inches long. I see you have the one over there now. Yeah, I just see now what we've got here.
Sorry, I have all blackthorn troll all over my kitchen, using it as a bit of a work zone during this pandemic.
Yeah, there's a sort of a nice stick there now. Yeah. See, that's now, this type of a knob stick now is a sort of a preference from me, maybe it's a wee bit small for my hand, but it's that type of a stick there now is what I would, which when you see the varnished up and all, you can see all the knuckles and everything. That type of a stick is interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, but when you get them first time, the stick will dictate what it's going to be. You work away on a stick and you're doing the knob. You don't know what way it's going to turn out because you don't know, will there be a crack under the bark when you remove it? You just don't know. So you work on it. It's like a blank canvas. You just keep working and the stick will shape itself.
Okay.
In theory, and then in your mind you will be able to work on it because you'll know what it needs to make it nicer or whatever.
Okay. And what advice would you give to new stick makers?
To a new stick maker, I would say is, first of all, identify what a blackthorn, if you want blackthorn, identify what a blackthorn is, where it grows, get to know the seasons for picking it, which I'm explaining is any time when after the loss of the leaves until it starts budding. There's a sort of a 2.5 to 3 month period. That is the time for cutting the blackthorn. Now, if you see some nice ones, you cut them, but don't cut them too near where the knob or the root ball is. Give plenty of space because there's a certain amount of cracking and shrinkage and stuff. So give yourself maybe 2 or 3 inches to play around with. You can cut off later and still have the real part that you need.
Okay.
And also, then it is important that what I do anyway is when I'm cutting the trees, I make sure not to damage any young saplings which are grown. They are more important because it's no point going in like a sort of a, just a firestorm and wiping everything out. They're gone. Where you must make sure that there's more for next year and the next maybe generation of people. Often what I would do is I would dig up little saplings and place them nearer where they should be. Sometimes they would have scattered, they would have went under the ground and they'd moved along where a place where maybe cat would start eating, they would be destroyed. I would put them back into the main hedge or ditch. And it takes no time, but it's you're preserving the blackthorn like.
Okay.
So they're sort of little tip. But then when you get them cut in the season, this is it. People don't, so they try to force them along, to put them inside their hot presses and all, but that is not the way to do it. The real way is you get a shed or up on a rafters or somewhere. Air must be flowing through, a nice supply of air, and that they will season nice and steady. And if a stick stays straight, you're lucky. If it doesn't, then your skill then will be put to the test of how we do it. This will probably be another video later, further down the line, but yes, all them skills is, and you don't need a pile of tools because mostly we do everything by hand. We use files and rasps and handsaws and sand and blocks, and it's not like a factory type. It's an individual thing. Each individual stick maker actually knows who made what, because we would have our own distinct way of doing something. Where maybe another stick maker, maybe 10 miles away from me here, he would have a different type of way, but there's usually the same results, but just slightly different.
Okay.
So yeah, that is the way of it. Like, and also certain regions have different types of blackthorn. Also, like if they were on where we get them now, near the mountains, the local mountains here. It's a day's...
Don't give away our hiding places.
Sorry. It's a sort of it's about a day's work to try and go up the mountains and get these sticks. They don't just come to you. You're walking through fields and ditches and over. You want to be fit, and now I'm into my 70s and I'm just not fit for that anymore. So I have to get the ones in the low line where my son, he can get all these better ones. Anyway, I don't need much sticks now. I'm retired now. I'm sort of
consultation and advice.
Yeah, that's what I'm
passing on the torch. Like
that's what I'm here for now, just to give a bit of advice and try to explain, and also have something for future generations that at least our name will be memorialized some way or other.
Okay, don't worry about that. We have another generation coming through as well.
That's right.
But sure, we'll leave that at that today for this video. And sure, thanks for watching.